Twin Jades of Jiangdong. Chapter 21. Su Gong. Sun Sa left, leaving Zhou Yu alone, staring at the dim light of the lamp, lost in his thoughts. During the night, the snow stopped, and the eaves began to drip with water. Zhou Yu knocked on the door to Sun Sa's room, and a call of come in came from the inside, yet Zhou Yu didn't push the door open and enter. I know that the main goal is important, Sun Sa's shadow waved back and forth inside as he smiled. But Gong Jun, think about it, if I don't get revenge for this, how will I stand firm in Jiangdong? Zhou Yu replied, only by enduring temporary hardship can a matter be accomplished. Back then, even Han Xin endured humiliation between another's legs. Never mind that I'm not telling you to endure for your entire life. Can't you endure for just a few years? Gongjin, Sun Sa said, come in, and talk. Zhou Yu replied, whatever. You're the Zigong, you have the ideas. That's right, Sun Sa said. I had an idea, and to tell you the truth, I knew that as soon as I brought it up, you'd get angry, so I didn't dare to say it. How could angry adequately describe Zhou Yu's feelings? Several times, he even wanted to go so far as to beat Sun Sa up. Finally, he could hold it back no longer, and he said, are you so eager to get revenge? Sun Sa replied, I'm not just doing it for revenge. Sun Sa pushed the door open and walked out, saying earnestly, think about it, you think about it? My father died to Huang Gai's arrows, and if I don't get revenge for that, how will I gather troops? How will I build up my own authority? You saw today as well that the people who came to sign up all came because of the debts of gratitude they owed my father. Did they ever truly know who I was? You said that you owe Huasiang a debt of blood as well, but that's you. Sun Sa said. You do not need to lead the troops, and you do not need to become independent from their sources of a single city alone. If today, it was I assisting you instead, I would say the same things you have said. I have no accomplishments and no trade to follow, and it can even be said that I have no reputation to speak of. I only have this single title, that of the son of the prefect of Changsha. Aside from that, Sun Sa said heavily, no one recognizes me, and no one knows of me. Even the troops originally under my command, Chengpu, Huang Gai, Zhu Ji, none of them truly submit to me. Zhou Yu sucked in a deep breath, seeing that behind Sun Sa were his half-packed belongings. If you attack Jingzhou, let's put aside the discussion of if you'll be able to conquer it or not, Zhou Yu said, do you have enough troops, and what are you planning on doing after you conquer it? Jingzhou has historically been a land of contention between military families, and as soon as you send your troops forth, the forces on all sides will immediately grow wary. You are not yet mature enough, and to take such an action at such a time is exceedingly foolish. Sun Sa replied, this is the first step in the plan. You are not to ask about this matter anymore, because from now on, I am in charge of external affairs, while you're in charge of the internal affairs. You're in charge of the home front, while I'm in charge of the front lines. When Zhou Yu heard these words, he was filled with rage. He roared, Sun Bafu. I've thought it all through. Sun Sa roared back. I thought about this for an entire winter. If I want to make a comeback, this step is one that must be taken. The two of them were silent for a moment, and Zhou Yu looked at a corner of the clothes that were rolled up and ready to be packed on the bed. As you wish, Zhou Yu said. Sun Sa sighed. Zhou Yu slammed the door behind him and left. Every time, it's always me listening to you, Sun Sa said, walking out and standing in the corridor. Can't you listen to me for once? There is nothing else more important than getting revenge on my father's murderer. Zhou Yu turned the corner, vanishing. Sun Sa was in such low spirits that he stopped packing entirely, instead choosing to lie down, fully robed, on the bed. His eyes were open, and he stared at the ceiling for a long while, only managing to fall asleep in the middle of the night. On the morning of the next day, Zhou Yu kicked open the door with a foot. Sun Sa immediately startled awake. His head was splitting with pain, and he asked, "What time is it?" Zhou Yu came in to pack his belongings for him. Ever since the two of them had been together, Sun Sa's clothes, food, lodgings, and travels were all arranged by Zhou Yu. After leaving him, Sun Sa couldn't even find where he put his most commonly used objects. Zhou Yu was still quicker, and he finished packing for him like a whirlwind. "Gongjin, listen to me," Sun Sa said. "It's done," Zhou Yu said. "Everything is packed. You have 3 days' worth of clothes to change into, and I've prepared dried rations for you as well. Don't catch a cold on your trip, there's medicine in the backpack as well. You can stew it yourself to drink. Get up, get up." Zhou Yu reached out and dragged Sun Sa up by the armpits, making him stand up straight. Sun Sa still looked as if he hadn't fully woken. Zhou Yu placed a large bundle wrapped in a bed sheet on Sun Sa's back, wrapped it around his waist and shoulder, and tied a knot in front of his chest. Sun Sa was torn between laughing and crying. Zhou Yu nudged him once more, saying, "Go, set off." With that, Zhou Yu walked out of the room and left. Sun Sa replied, "You're screwing with me." Zhou Yu didn't respond, as at this moment, he had gone to who knows where. Sun Sa had no other choice. He wanted to search for him, but he couldn't find him, so Zhou Yu had probably gone to the prefect's manor. The main gates were closed, and though Sun Sa wanted to wait, he didn't have enough time to do so. However, he was also not willing to put off his departure for another day. He sat for a while in the courtyard, looking as if he was carrying a large turtle shell. He glanced in the mirror, and he thought he looked very foolish. In the end, Sun Sa left Zhou Yu a letter, before heading to the back courtyard to saddle his horse and set off. In that process, there were several times when Sun Sa wanted to turn around, because he felt like Zhou Yu didn't want to let him leave. Leaving so easily after their argument also left a feeling of trepidation in his heart. He wanted to turn back, but he also felt that he shouldn't, so with every step he took, he turned his head back 3 times. After noon, he had only traveled 20 li along the main road. Since it was a snowy day, the roads were slippery. In the end, Sun Sa still made up his mind. "Whatever, after I get back, I'll go apologize to Zhou Yu, but first, I need to get to Liang." But, after he ran another 5 li, he saw that there was a black mass of people in front, numbering over 1,000. Zhou Yu was leading over 1,000 troops, all waiting on the road. Sun Sa was carrying a bag on his back like he was fleeing from something, and he smiled, hey at him. For the rest of the journey, Zhou Yu kept his expression dark. Sun Sa poked at him a few times, yet Zhou Yu didn't even want to talk. "Say," Sun Sa said, smiling, "stop being angry, all right? You're already here." Zhou Yu replied stoically, "I am not agreeing to your plan, but the greater good is important, so I had no choice but to lead the troops out to prevent you befalling any danger on the road. Yuan Shu definitely has his eye on us now." Okay, Sun Sa said. "You're the most important, what you say counts." They passed by quite a few county capitals on their way from Danyang to Luoyang, and every time Sun Sa arrived at a new location, people would come to join up. The news spread, 1 year to 10, 10 to 100, and 10 days later, they already had over 3,000 people. But these 3,000 people were a motley group. Aside from the Danyang troops that Zhou Yu had brought, many of them were green. Zhou Yu had no choice but to slow the speed of their marching, and they dragged on, taking another 5 days to reach Liang. When they arrived in Liang, without wasting even a single breath, Sun Sa began to treat the place as if it was his own territory. When he entered the city, he first found the captain of the city guard, figured out lodgings for his troops, then walked into the prefect's estate with great familiarity. The prefect of Liang, Wu Jing, had a temper so like Sun Sa's that they seemed to be made of the same mold. Upon seeing the two of them, he began to laugh, he, ha ha ha. He didn't mention anything else, instead taking Zhou Yu's hand as if they were old friends that hadn't seen each other for 10 years. Upon seeing Wu Jing, no matter how great Zhou Yu's anger towards Sun Sa was, he had to set it aside temporarily. His smile caused those that saw it to feel as if they were being bathed in a spring breeze, and he greeted the prefect of Liang with a bow. No problem. No problem. Wu Jing said. Your father, that man's temper was also very short. When I said I'd send troops out to help him, he actually felt that I was sticking my nose where it didn't belong. That's right, that's right. Sun Sa hurriedly nodded. As soon as he heard that, Zhou Yu knew that Wu Jing and Sun Jian had not seen eye to eye when Sun Jian was still alive, but that was often the case between a brother and his brother-in-law. Not to mention, Zhou Yu had also heard Sun Quan tell a few anecdotes about his parents, and had learned that back then, Sun Jian had stolen Lady Wu to marry her. If it were Zhou Yu himself, with a sister who had been stolen away to be married without warning, and his brother-in-law also had a fiery temper, he would also not have any sort of good expression to show that man. Thankfully the nephew was like the uncle, and Sun Sa got along well with his mother's side of the family. What are you planning to do after this? Wu Jing asked. Are you going to gather up men to get revenge for your father? Or what will you do? Zhou Yu replied, for what we have planned currently, we do need to gather troops and buy supplies, as increasing our forces will be key. Sun Sa said, after that, naturally, we'll be conquering Jingzhou. Zhou Yu's expression changed, because he knew that Sun Sa had not yet given up. He said to Wu Jing, Liang has accumulated peace for 10 years, and has been a place that Yuan Shu has coveted for many years. Though this place has well-trained troops and sharp weapons, if they were all mobilized to head to Jingzhou, that would leave their rear unguarded and open to any surprises. Please, think this over again. Wu Jing added, that's true, nephew Zhou's words make sense. Sun Sa replied, the Danyang troops can rush to assist, and our two cities can take care of each other. Zhou Yu replied unhappily, how can you toy with the lives of the 40,000 people in the Wu commandery, with Su Gong watching to one side, just like that? It's not like Su Gong is fighting for Yuan Shu, Sun Sa replied sternly. Zhou Gongjin, don't overthink it. Uncle, see, Zhou Yu said, when I went to Shaochun, Su Gong was sitting right by Yuan Shu's side. Tell me, does he or does he not fight for Yuan Shu? You're arguing with me in front of my uncle? You think you know better than me, is that it? Sun Sa said. Don't fight, Wu Jing said, hurrying to mediate between the two of them. What Sa'er said also makes sense. Since it's your men, Zhou Yu said, then you should have an idea. What am I worrying so much for? Wu Jing said, chuckling. Sun Sa hurriedly said, those words are too much. Zhou Yu didn't speak. He simply drank his head, and Sun Sa lifted the pot, pouring him some more while he smiled. Wu Jing thought for a bit, before saying, why don't we try this? Since Su Gong is a variable, and my troops are lazing about anyways, why don't you two make another trip and bring the troops to the Wu commandery? Zhou Yu was silent at that, while Wu Jing explained to the two of them, originally, this old bag of bones no longer wanted to care about this matter, but the year before, bandits brought disaster to the people. There was a bandit leader over in Wuchun County named Yan Beihu, and despite me petitioning the imperial court multiple times for troops to quash them, that bastard hid himself under Su Gong's command. Sun Sa made the final decision. This strategy's good. Let's first take down Su Gong, then gather the Wu commandery troops. Wu Jing said happily, one of your father's old subordinates, Zhu Ji, is in the Wu commandery holding the position of marshal. Let's conquer from both the inside and out, how does that sound? The first rain of spring fell in Liang as Zhou Yu walked swiftly across the courtyard, Sun Sa racing behind him. Hey! Sun Sa circled around from behind a pillar. Zhou Yu didn't pay him any attention. Sun Sa said, "Stop right there." Zhou Yu could bear it no longer. He sighed and said, "I'm leaving." "Where are you going?" Sun Sa asked. "Back to where I came from," Zhou Yu replied mildly. Sun Sa replied, "Let's put this matter aside from now, as you wish." Zhou Yu didn't say anything. He circled around Sun Sa, moving to leave, but Sun Sa blocked his path again, saying, "In front of uncle, can you leave me with some face? For every day that you stay at my side," Zhou Yu said, "I'll whittle away 1 day's worth of reputation from you. Whittling away your reputation is one thing, I'll also trip you up underhandedly. If you want to send troops to Jingzhou, no matter how many reasons you give, if you can't persuade me, it'll all have been in vain." Sun Sa, "You." Zhou Yu replied intently, "If I don't agree, you will never receive the rations you're waiting for, so there's no use in sending your troops out anyways." Sun Sa stood there for a while, before his entire body seemed to slump, as if he had admitted defeat. "All right," Sun Sa said. "You win." That day, Zhou Yu took control of the military account books for Liang. There were 6,000 troops here, and if they counted the 3,000 men that he and Sun Sa had brought, they already numbered 9,000. Adding the 3,000 members of the navy in Shu County to that, they numbered 12,000 in total. 12,000, in this situation, was enough to challenge Yuan Shu, and if they were used right, conquering Jingzhou was not out of reach. Sun Sa's plan naturally had his reasons behind it, but what Zhou Yu was thinking about more was, what would they do after they conquered Jingzhou? Getting revenge was easy, it would be over as soon as they finished their killing. But after getting revenge, the entire world would grow uneasy, as the balance and the current situation would be disrupted. That would cause Sun Sa to replace Yuan Shu as the biggest threat. When that time came, Yuan Shao, Yuan Shu, Dongzhou, and Gong Sun Zan, all of them would immediately start to take action to get rid of Sun Sa. "Do we still need to fight for Wu Commandery?" Sun Sa said, glancing at the books. "With 9,000 people charging their way, and less than 3,000 guarding the city, plus Zhu Ji helping from the inside, no matter what we do, we'll flatten it." "It's not a question of if we'll be able to conquer it," Zhou Yu said, after thinking for a bit. "How will you enter the city? Will you have someone shouting to make way in the front, while your men guard you from the back, with everyone watching you as you take the Wu Commandery with the divine right to rule on your side? Or will you let Su Gong close the city gates and allow him to look death calmly in the face as you exchange a few rounds of arrows, before he lets out a wail of 'I have done my duty faithfully'? But the entire city will fall to the hands of a thief, and let the citizens treat you as a mountain bandit or a robber as you enter." At that, Sun Sa immediately burst out into laughter. Zhou Yu continued, "Do what you wish." Sun Sa felt that that was amusing and came over, looking at the maps on Zhou Yu's table. He said, "Didn't my uncle say so? Yan Beihu has declared the mountain his territory for many years, and both the heavens and the people are angry. Let Su Gong hand him over first, and if Su Gong doesn't do that, then we slaughter our way in." Zhou Yu pointed out, "What if Su Gong does hand him over?" Sun Sa stopped speaking. Zhou Yu continued, "If you wish to establish your reputation and build your prestige, this is the best chance. You must not allow for a single soldier to be wounded. Sweep over like a storm and take Wu Commandery, spare Yan Beihu's life, and make them fight to the death for you of their own accord. This is much more useful than if you were to go slaughtering your way into Jingzhou and hang Huangziu's head on the city wall." Sun Sa was silent for a long while, before he replied, "You speak rightly, but I cannot do it." Zhou Yu tossed the brush away and said, "Try it. Aren't you in charge of external affairs? This method is much harder than any of the battles we've fought before. If you wish to become famous from a single battle alone, then you've got to fight it beautifully. 3 days later, Zhou Yu secretly led troops out, while Sun Ce organized the army and followed behind them, heading towards the Wu commandery. The prefect of Liang, Wu Jing, had first sent out a secret edict from the imperial court, which informed Su Gong that, as the current situation was turbulent, it was hard for the court to enforce its decrees. Influence overlapped between the court and the counties as well, and often they seemed to comply but acted contrary to their words. As the prefect of Liang, Wu Jing was tasked with capturing the traitor Yan Beihu within his own lands. Since Yan Beihu had escaped to the Wu commander and hid himself in Su Gong's territory, Su Gong was disobeying direct orders. Wu Jing sent out an arrest warrant, with the meaning that he was willing to apply diplomacy first before turning to force, but naturally, Su Gong would ignore that. With that, Wu Jing then sent out Sun Ce under the pretense of catching the thieves as an excuse for waging war and sending troops to pressure the Wu commandery. Just as Zhou Yu expected, Su Gong was full of refusal, saying that such a thing had never happened. On the 9th of the second month, Sun Ce led his troops, pressing in closer to the Wu commandery. Su Gong had long since heard, as the cities and towns along the way had watched Sun Ce pass. Zhou Yu had long since set down a strict order that as long as they were not in their own territory, the troops must not disturb the residents. But with Sun Jian's reputation, there were many residents of the Wu commandery who had been under the harsh rule of Yan Beihu, so a good number of people joined the ranks of Sun Ce's army to rout the thief along the way. Sun Ce's name was influential, and when they arrived outside the Wu commandery, they numbered over 10,000 people. That was truly a grand sight, as if no one could best him. There were 7,000 soldiers assigned to the Wu commandery, who were then split amongst Wuchun, Qiantang, Yuhang, Fukun and similar areas. Su Gong was situated within the capital, Wu County, which had less than 3,000 men stationed there. When they arrived, the soldiers guarding the city were wary at the slightest sound, and they had the gates tightly shut. It was spring in Jiangdong, and the flowers were blooming. The fields surrounding the Wu commandery were filled with wildflowers as Sun Ce led his 10,000-man strong army to set up camp outside the city. The warm wind caused a feeling of laziness to settle over them. "Is anyone home? Tell Su Gong to come out and speak." Sun Ce shouted from a distance as he reined his horse to a stop in the middle of the field. There were over 10,000 common citizens in Wu County, and the people in the city were restless and uneasy. Sun Ce shouted again. "Is Prefect Su there? This general has something to ask." A person appeared over the city walls, evidently someone who was there to shout Su Gong's reply. The entire city was acting as if it was preparing to face some great enemy, and the archers all knocked arrows to their bows. Sun Ce, however, did not show even a hint of fear as he circled swaggeringly back and forth in front of the city gates, a staff of divine metal on his back. "I heard that Yan Beihu is hiding in your city," Sun Ce said. "I have been sent by the imperial court to arrest him and close the case." Sun Ce shook open the letter in his hand, with the seal General Polusan stamped on the seal. A subordinate of his took it to the city gates, but Su Gong refused to open the gates, instead saying politely from up top, "General Sun is making a joke. No such thing happened, and Yan Beihu has long since been chased out of the Wu commandery." Sun Ce replied, "Is that right? Why did I hear that he's recently been here?" Su Gong didn't speak. A moment of silence later, he exchanged a few words of discussion with his subordinates, before saying, "General Sun, please return to where you came." Sun Ce replied, "Ah well. If the Lord Prefect does not believe me, then I will have my troops make camp outside the city. If any changes happen within, we can also respond in a timely fashion." Su Gong's face twitched. Sun Ce continued, "We won't disturb any of the people or livestock living here when we set up camp, so Prefect Su is welcome to do as you please." End chapter. Twin Jades of Jiangdong. Chapter 22. Forces on the inside. Everything that happened was something Zhou Yu had long since planned for. Sun Sa made camp outside the capital city of Wu County, while Zhou Yu led some hundreds of men to the Wu River. They sucked in a deep breath and sank into the water. The western edge of Wu County bordered Lake Tai, and waterways crisscrossed the city. Since it was early spring, the waters were still icy cold. As soon as Sun Sa's large force arrived, the four gates had been tightly shut. Zhou Yu led over 100 men into the water, and like a school of fish, they headed through the waterways and snuck into the city. As night fell, Zhou Yu climbed onto the banks of the river with a huala, sopping wet. The early spring air was chilly, and Zhou Yu was so cold that his lips were purple-green, and his heart in knots. He almost couldn't catch a breath. He thought to himself, because I've been neglecting practicing my martial arts for these past few years, if it wasn't for the soldiers, I would have come very close to sinking into the water. That very night, the city was silent as it had never been before. Zhou Yu trembled as he said to the others, "Everyone, do as we discussed beforehand." The soldiers nodded, dispersing through the main streets and small alleyways. Zhou Yu's clothes were almost freezing over, and his long robes hung stiffly off his body. He sucked in a deep breath, stumblingly making his way through the main street enveloped in the dark of night, using all his might to leap onto the roof. Accompanied by the sound of pieces of ice clinking together, he ran all the way towards the north of the city. The governor's manor was still lit with lamps. Zhou Yu perched up against the eaves, listening to the chatter from inside. He quietly picked up a roof tile upon seeing that Su Gong was standing in the study, along with Zhu Ji and a burly man with a curly beard that Zhou Yu hadn't seen before. Sun Sa is similar to his father, Zhu Ji said. He is headstrong and willful, he acts before he thinks, and he does not think over his words before he speaks them. He's too young. Su Gong replied, "If the governor were to present yourself outside the city, what are our chances of victory?" Zhu Ji let out a breath and said, "It's hard to say. If he believes firmly in one thing, even if Sun Sa were to smash his head open against it, he would still have to guard it with his life. With my ability, I am unable to persuade him to stop." Su Gong and that curly-bearded fellow exchanged a glance. Su Gong added, "How about we write a missive and deliver it to the general of the rear, Yuan Shudaran?" The bushy-bearded fellow came forward and knelt, saying in supplication, "Sudaran." Su Gong and Zhu Ji hurried forward. "Quick, please rise." Zhu Ji added, "Yan Xiong, please rise." "Since I have established a stronghold and gathered troops," the curly-bearded man said, 11 years have already passed. Back then, the yellow turbans were wreaking havoc, causing the citizens to have no way to survive. I expelled the yellow turbans, and the lords of Wu Commandery saw that all happen with their own eyes." Of course," Su Gong said, wiping away some sweat. "As long as Su Mao guards the Wu Commandery, nothing will happen to Yan Xiong. How about you relax as much as you want?" Zhou Yu watched this all happen, and he knew that that person was Yan Beihu. The capital of Wu County was tightly sealed, because Su Gong knew that if Sun Sa wanted to force his way into the city, this amount of men was not enough to oppose them. Today, he had taken advantage of Sun Sa sending his troops out without a suitable reason, and as soon as night fell, he hurried over to find Zhu Ji to discuss. Su Gong was almost 50, and his figure was growing stout. After standing for so long, he had grown anxious again, and though it was a spring night, he was covered in sweat. After discussing for a while, they couldn't come up with a scheme, so he and Yan Beihu took their leave. Zhu Ji paced within the study, but upon hearing 3 quiet knocks against the window, he moved to latch the main door without even turning his head back. When he did turn to look, Zhou Yu, covered in ice, was sitting in front of the table, his exhales turning white from the cold. "General Zhu." Zhou Yu went forward and greeted Zhu Ji with a bow. Zhu Ji hurried to lift him up, saying, "I guessed that a messenger would come tonight, but I had not expected that it would be you. Zhou Yu knew that Zhu Ji, Huang Gai and the rest of them had long since sworn allegiance to Sun Jian. To Sun Sa, they were all his seniors, so Zhou Yu didn't dare to offend him, saying, I could not rest easy if anyone else came, so I could only make a trip here in person. General Zhu, do you think that now is the time? Zhou Yu didn't probe about Zhu Ji, nor did he say anything like if Sun Sa was just outside the city, would you follow him now or not? For one, if Zhu Ji already had the intent to leave and Zhou Yu rashly asked for his assistance, if Zhu Ji was hesitating about what to do next, it would be easy for him to impede their progress to their goal. Second, if Zhu Ji had remained steadfast and loyal in these past days, waiting for Sun Sa to send a message, if he opened his mouth and started with a test, that would be looking down on Zhu Ji. With this question of Zhou Yu's, Zhu Ji began to chuckle. After I bid farewell to the little general on Mount Gu near Lake Chao, Zhu Ji said, Yuan Shu sent me to Wu County. Everyone is of the same general mind on this, and before this, I knew that you were on the roof, looking in, so some words that I spoke were said for the sake of hiding the truth from Su Gong. Do not feel the need to take them to heart. When Zhou Yu heard that, a great burden came off his shoulders. Since that's the case, then I will have to trouble General Zhu to lend me a set of night traveling clothes, Zhou Yu said, wrinkling his brows. A layer of frost had settled over his hair. There are a few trivial matters that need to be urgently dealt with. Zhu Ji went personally to retrieve a set of night traveling clothes for Zhou Yu, while Zhou Yu lifted his head to look at the map of Wu County that had been pasted on the wall. After Zhu Ji returned, Zhou Yu didn't hide from him either, changing right in the study into a set of black soldier's robes, holding a blow-dart gun in his hand. Zhu Ji asked him, were you the only person to come into the city? 421 people accompanied me, Zhou Yu said. They've hidden themselves throughout the city, and I'll have to trouble you, General, to arrange lodgings for them. Zhu replied, settling them amongst my own men will do. When you return in a bit, I'll have waste tallies for you to distribute. Zhou Yu nodded and vaulted out from the window, blending into the dark of the night. A light rain began to fall, and though the city had strengthened its defenses, those could not stop Zhou Yu. Fei flapped arduously down from the sky, landing on Zhou Yu's arm. Zhou Yu stroked Fei gently, clambering with it up onto the top of the roof. He found the prefect's manor based on his memory alone. As expected, the eastern side of the western wing was alight with lamps. That was the study, and more likely than not, Su Gong was there penning a letter. Zhou Yu was just about to take a step when a sense of weariness came from his heart. He sensed that everything around him was rustling slightly in the light rain, and there were quite a number of sentries stationed outside the prefect's manor, many of which were experts that weren't making the slightest sound. Zhou Yu hesitated for a while, before deciding in the end that he didn't dare to take action rashly. He waited, very patiently, for a whole half a shishan, and it wasn't until one person left the backyard and galloped away on a horse that he leapt across the rooftops to tail him. Su Gong had sent out a messenger, who was heading along the western main road out of the city. Zhou Yu untied the strip of cloth and let Fei go. Fei sliced through the pitch-black night, shooting towards the west, flying into the forest outside the city. Sun Sa was also wearing a set of night-traveling clothes, and he led some tens of men in standing guard within the forest to the west of the city. Fei sped over, landing on Sun Sa's shoulder. Sun Sa pursed his lips and whistled gently a few times, and the gerfalcon rose again into the air as the group of people passed silently through the grove. The messenger's steed rushed into the secret road through the forest, and immediately, the ambushers raised the tripwire, sending the man and horse falling. The soldiers under Sun Sa's command rushed forward, their blades falling at the same time in the quiet of the night. They immediately hacked down that messenger, before swiftly tugging his body into the depths of the grove. General Sun. One of his subordinates came over holding a torch, shining its light upon Sun Sa. Sun Sa, his forehead furrowed deeply, hastily glanced at that letter. This was a letter that Su Gong had penned to Yuan Shu, and its contents, unsurprisingly, requested that Yuan Shu send troops to aid them, or to send out a messenger with the orders to dispatch Sun Sa away from Wu Commandery, otherwise it was very likely that Sun Sa would attack the city. Sun Sa laughed coldly. He finished reading the letter and sealed it as it was, before tying it to Fiu's leg and sending the falcon back into the city. In less than the time it took to brew a pot of tea, Zhou Yu appeared once more in front of Zhu Ji. Zhu Ji had retrieved the waist tallies, and he said, "Come with me." Zhou Yu mounted a horse, and he followed Zhu Ji, passing through the main street in the silent night. They arrived at the governor's men's barracks in the east of the city, and Zhou Yu said, "The guards in Su Gong's manor are very skilled, and he has hidden sentries stationed on all sides. I didn't dare to sneak in hastily." Zhu Ji replied in a quiet voice, "Su Gong's wife is someone from the Jianghu, who has a good number of retainers under her command. Gongjin, I have something to discuss with you, and you must take these words to heart." Zhou Yu ed, dismounting outside the barracks. He retrieved the sky lantern that Zhu Ji had prepared for him, lighting it up with a wave of a book of matches. "Though Yan Beihu has the identity of a bandit," Zhu Ji said, "at the heart of it, he is a local hero." "I understand." Zhou Yu nodded, the lamp casting its light over his handsome features. With his black outfit and the sky lantern in his hand, Zhou Yu drew quite a few sidelong glances from the soldiers in the barracks. "If we are able to not kill him, we will do our best not to kill him," Zhou Yu said. "But before the city falls, we may have to make Yan Xiang fall into our trap once. I can, however, promise that his life will not be in danger." Zhu Ji nodded. Zhou Yu loosened his grip and let the sky lantern go. A single dim, weak sky lantern wobbled as it flew through the dark sky and the light rained towards the horizon. The assassins hidden throughout the city all raised their heads and looked towards the lantern, coming from all sides to gather where Zhou Yu was. Fiu spread its wings once more and glided down, bringing with it Su Gong's letter. Since the last time he had seen Fiu, Zhu Ji felt as if a whole lifetime had passed, and for a time he was filled with emotion as he reached a hand out to stroke it. Fiu still remembered him, and it tilted its head, affectionately rubbing its head against his finger. Zhou Yu took the letter, before returning to the barracks with Zhu Ji. There, Zhou Yu opened up the letter and glanced quickly over it, before lifting his brush and dipping it in some ink. "General Zhu, General Huang, General Cheng Pu, after you all left," Zhou Yu said solemnly, spreading a piece of paper out, "Bafu has spent his days as if his spirit left his body, stumbling about in a daze, and his sole wish has been to return to Jingzhou to get revenge for the old general. Which one of us does not wish to seek revenge?" Zhu Ji said. "If we can successfully gain Wu Commandery today and put down roots here, then I imagine that Wentuxiang's spirit up in the heavens can also rest a little easier." Zhou Yu let out a sigh. Zhu Ji continued, "After Wentuxiang died on the battlefield, us brothers have been like wild dogs without a home. Now, you have come, and so has Bafu, which can truly be counted as one of the luckiest things in my life." As they spoke, Zhou Yu used Su Gong's characters as a guide to copy the letter. Zhu Ji began to smile as he watched, saying, "With you to compliment Bafu, what can stop the two of you?" Zhou Yu replied, "Before, I was often scolded by my dad for my mischievous tricks." Zhou Yu rewrote that letter using Su Gong's handwriting as a guide, keeping the original phrasing in most of the parts. It was only at the end of the letter that he added on the matter of Yan Beihu, and he brought up that soon, he would have his retinue capture Yan Beihu and send him out of the city, handing him over to Sun Sa. "Originally, I wanted to find General Zhu and ask you to request a sample of Su Gong's handwriting, but I hadn't expected that it would have come to us instead." Zhou Yu borrowed the light of the lamp to study Su Gong's personal seal and the imprint of the prefect's signet. Every prefect's official seal was about the same, and only the personal seal would have to be mimicked carefully. With that, Zhou Yu chopped off a length of wood, pulled out his seal crafting chisel, and under the dim yellow light of the lamp, began to forge the seal. Zhu Ji prepared the wax at the ready. In just a few moments, Zhou Yu had finished carving the seal, and he pressed it upright against the paper, before folding up the letter. Zhu Ji used the wax to seal it, before placing a corner of the letter in some water and allowing it to soften, opening it up just a little. He said, "This is to be sent to Yan Beihu, is it not?" Zhou Yu nodded, replying, "I imagine General Zhu knows what to say." Zhu Ji replied, "I will simply say that my men intercepted this messenger who was heading out of the city." Upon seeing the letter, they knew that this matter was not a trivial one, so they hurried here to notify me. Zhou Yu replied, "Exactly." And saying this, he flicked his sleeve, turning the Chaijun sword sideways and pulling it gently over his forearm, letting a little bit of blood splatter on the letter. Zhou Yu rose and said, "We'll also have to send someone to notify Su Gong." Zhu Ji replied, "I will take care of that." After Zhou Yu and Zhu Ji finished going over their next steps, the two of them split up to do their parts, sinking into the dark night. At the fourth gang, in the cold, dark night, Zhu Ji personally knocked on the entrance to where Yan Beihu was currently residing. He was living in a small, four-sectioned courtyard outside of the prefect's manor. Zhu Ji coughed, and a servant came over, carrying a lantern. "Call your family's Lai," Zhu Ji said. "Tell him to come out right now." That servant had served Yan Beihu for many years, and usually had a discerning gaze. Though Zhu Ji was wearing the robes of a commoner, as soon as the servant saw him, he knew that he was a major figure. He didn't dare to slight him, so he went back and had Yan Beihu come out. Yan Beihu was wrapped in his inner robes, and he stood in the corridor. Clearly, he hadn't slept for the entire night either. Zhu Ji handed the letter over and walked into the courtyard. Yan Beihu didn't make a sound. After opening up the letter and glancing at it, he was immediately stunned, and he stared at Zhu Ji. "After you finish reading it, burn it immediately," Zhu Ji said. "Where is the messenger?" Yan Beihu asked. Zhu Ji replied, "I already killed him and sank his corpse into Lake Tai." Yan Beihu paced back and forth several times in the corridor, shaking uncontrollably. Zhu Ji nodded slightly, and he was just about to bid farewell and take his leave when Yan Beihu's knees suddenly went weak. He knelt down and pleaded, "Lord Governor, please save me." Yan Beihu's family, from old to young, had almost all taken shelter with Su Gong. Su Gong had sought far and wide for retainers, a fact that all of Jiangdong knew, and in this moment, if the prefect had his heart set on using him in exchange for peace in this region, it would be useless no matter who begged for mercy on his behalf. Zhu Ji sighed and replied, "To resolve the issue at hand, Yan Xiong will have to take a trip out of the city tonight. This can be delayed no longer. Sun Sa has his troops stationed outside the southern gates, so the better option would be for you to escape through the western gates." At the same time, the night watchman sounded the hour as he passed by the door to the prefect's manor. Zhou Yu nodded towards Zhu Ji's subordinate. Reporting in, a messenger entered the manor. "Governor Zhu has a secret message for the Lord Prefect." Su Gong had also been bothered for a good portion of the night, and he had just managed to rest his heavy head down on the pillows when one of his concubines lifted him to his feet again. He sat down at the front of the hall, lighting a dim lamp. Yan Beihu packed up his belongings in the night and took his entire family, elderly and young, with him, the messenger said. "He may be trying to escape during the night." Su Gong's expression immediately grew shocked, and he immediately ordered someone to go investigate. Not long after, a retainer came and reporting into Milord, "Yan Beihu is already preparing a carriage and gathering his subordinates within the city. He is truly planning to head out of the city." "This idiot!" Su Gong raged. "What about Zhu Ji? Immediately send a letter to Zhu Ji. Have him bring some men to the city gates to stand guard. Send an order to guard the city gates heavily. If orders are not given, do not allow him to take even a single step out of the city. If he's going, then let him go, Madame Su said lazily. Isn't it the perfect chance to let Sun Sa chase after him? Su Gong said anxiously. You do not know, but how far can Yan Beihu get while escaping? If Sun Sa does manage to capture outside the city, how will that bastard show any sort of restraint? He'll find any sort of excuse, and in order to search for the remnants, he'll come charging into the city. If this then gets to the ears of General Yuan and he assigns me the crime of hiding a nest of bandits, Wuxian will still end up falling into his hands. Su Gong immediately rose and ordered his servants to prepare a carriage for him. He changed his robes, brought along the assassins under his command, and prepared to head out in person to stop Yan Beihu. When that line of people left the prefect's manor, Zhou Yu, who had been hiding in the back courtyard, did some silent calculations. Quite a few people had left, and now their defenses were basically none. This was the best time to spring a surprise attack. Sun Sa stood outside the western city gates. Fei flew to him, and the rhythm of his breaths trembled because of that, his forehead covered in sweat from his nervousness. In the courtyard across from the prefect's manor, a group of Zhou Yu's subordinates had surrounded this place, and the children couldn't help crying. Zhou Yu hurried to hush them, and he made a gesture. The people who had been guarding the owner of this house went inside, and all of them bowed, before spreading open a huge, rectangular strip of a kite, pouring oil onto it. Su Gong steered that carriage to Yan Beihu's manor. The assassins raised their torches, surrounding the entirety of the estate. Yan Xiong. Su Gong hurried off the carriage, saying, "What are you doing now?" "No need to say it," Yan Beihu said. "If you allow me to leave today, then you and I can still be friends. If you are to stop me, then offer up your life in exchange." Su Gong's face lost its color. "You must not. Su Mao has no intent to cause you any additional harm. Who has told you such nonsense?" Yan Beihu, however, didn't give him any opportunity at all. Hundreds of his subordinates had already gathered in the manor, and he raised his broadsword, roaring, "Brothers, come with me to carve out our path of escape." Su Gong backed up, greatly shocked. Yan Beihu led his men in rushing out, and the main street turned into a mess of fighting and killing. It was already nearing daybreak in Wuxian, and the cries and shouts of battle startled the citizens awake along the streets. Lamps lit up in many of the houses as war cries echoed in the streets outside. Su Gong hadn't expected Yan Beihu to be so resolute, and after a few failed attempts at stopping him, he hurriedly retreated. The two sides began to fight right in the alley. Yan Beihu knew that staying meant inevitable death for him, and he would only have a chance at survival if he rushed out of the city tonight. Su Gong, on the other hand, kept bemoaning the situation, and he retreated time and again. He then sent someone back to the manor for supporting troops, but Zhu Ji, who had promised to block off Yan Beihu's path, was very late in arriving. "Kill!" Yan Beihu led his men in a charge that sent Su Gong's subordinates careening and their horses overturning as they rushed into the prefect's manor. Su Gong was immediately overcome with panic and turned to flee in the first direction he saw, which was towards the western gates. Wuxian's citizens had all woken in the middle of the night, and every household was lit with lamps. Upon seeing that the last group of soldiers within the manor had also gone forward to support their side, Zhou Yu let out a whistle, rapidly racing across the rooftops. With a tug on the kite, he leapt. Behind him, a soldier waved a torch and tossed it against the kite, which immediately burst into flames. After that, it was as if a fiery dragon had risen from the ground, and amidst the surprised cries of countless people, it flew into the prefect's manor. Oil had been poured over the structures, and it burst into flames as soon as it contacted flame. There was a huge boom, and blazing flames burst forth from the prefect's manor. "Prefect Su has been attacked by assassins," Zhu Ji roared. "Prefect Su has been attacked by assassins," a crier roared, dashing through the streets. Return to your homes immediately and hide. Do not come outside. Soon after, when Sun Sa saw the flames burning in the city, he began to lead his troops in charging at the city. The subordinates that Zhou Yu had long since hidden in the city rushed towards the city gates, and they opened the gates. The inside and outside of the city fell into complete chaos. Just as Yan Beihu rushed to the gates, he realized that things were not going well, and he turned to flee, only to be captured by the Liang troops led by Sun Sa. Su Gong only had a couple hundred subordinates, and they were instantly washed away by the crowd of people. The flames shed their light all around, and the members of Sun Sa's army held crossbows in their hands, shooting out sharp arrows tipped in anesthetic. They flattened the first wave, before immediately rushing towards the prefect's manor. Zhou Yu let go of the cotton string of the kite and rushed into the prefect's manor. The fires were burning merrily away, and everyone had already fled. Just as he was about to leave the manor and go meet up with Sun Sa, who had just entered the city, a sash of white silk came flying at him, coiling around his ankle. It was at this moment that Zhou Yu fell down, slamming into the roof tiles. "Who's that?" a woman's voice shouted sharply, before a handful of metal caltrops shot towards him. Zhou Yu didn't dare to make a sound as he somersaulted in place, waving high shand and sending the hidden weapons flying away, even as the white silk that had wrapped around him tugged him again. Zhou Yu's build was tall and large, but he was actually dragged along by this woman for almost a whole zhang. He immediately knew that this person was versed in martial arts, and he could not let his guard down. With a leap that displaced the air around him, Zhou Yu spun through the air in the opposite direction that the white silk had coiled around him. That woman shook it 3 times, but could not catch him. Instead, Zhou Yu broke free from its grasp, and that woman pulled out a dagger, and swiped at him with it. Zhou Yu didn't land on the ground at all, turning his body in the air to dodge, but the dagger sliced him as he passed, his outer robe tearing at that. His skin was sliced open, and fresh blood seeped from the wound. He lowered his body swiftly, pressed one hand against the ground, and avoided that woman's second dagger strike. Right after, he went fully horizontal, and the cloth covering his face fell off. He took this opportunity to draw the Chaijun sword belted at his waist, and when their weapons clashed, the woman's dagger broke with a gentle ding. With 2 swipes of his sword, Zhou Yu forced her to step back. "Zhou Gongjin," that woman asked oddly. Zhou Yu's heart jolted at that. He didn't know how this woman had determined his identity, and he immediately stopped speaking, pulling away and retreating. "Wait. We will meet again someday," Zhou Yu said solemnly, before he vaulted over the garden wall and vanished. End chapter.